It is time for the Nebraska Dairy Update. I'm Chad Moyer. Today we're visiting with Lowell Mueller. He's a producer from Hupper, Nebraska. He also sits on Midwest Dairy, Nebraska Division Board, and is also active in DMI. That's Dairy Management Incorporated, which is the National Dairy Checkoff Organization. Lowell, thanks for joining us here today. I understand that DMI got together earlier this week. We're going to talk about that in a moment. First of all, we want to focus on what's going on with dairy exports. You're the chair of the partnership committee, the International Partnership Committee. We've talked about some of these domestic partnerships, but internationally, how do these partnerships happen with the dairy checkoff? What's kind of what are some of the things going on with that right now, Lowell?
We've got several international partnerships that we have contracts with, and the main goal of that is just to get more products overseas. So we work with USDEC through DMI and through various companies. Some of them that we're working with now is Pizza Hut Asia Pacific, Domino's Pizza in Japan, which is really growing, Domino's Pizza in the Mideast, and then we work with several co-ops, and we get products overseas and work with them to help them get through. So we have those projects going, and we've got some future ideas. So a lot of things in the works right now.
Yeah. It says here, too, that you're also vice chair of the Export Oversight Committee at DMI. And you know, these two things fit together kind of nicely, especially considering there was a trade mission that just happened. Tell me a little bit about what was going on with that.
Well, we sent 5 dairy farmers over to Dubai. Actually, one of the reasons that we went at that particular time is the Gulf Food Show, trade show is going on, and that's the largest food show in the world that happens every year. So there's all kinds of connections going on all over the world from there. But that's also in that region, the MENA region, which we call that's the Mideast and North Africa area that we're really focusing on, and we see a lot of potential there.
All right. Well, tell me what's going on in that part of the world that it feels like there's potential for dairy exports going into there.
In that area now, we are currently, it's our number 7 market for U.S. dairy exports. So in this last year, we increased that sales in that area by 20%. So it's growing. The good part about that area is that we don't have to convince the consumers there to buy dairy products, and especially cheese, because they already have that in their diet. So that's the exciting part of it.
All right, sounds good. So, again, just on this idea of exports overall, you know, you hit on Mideast, North Africa, but the U.S. Dairy Export Council, they're active in a lot of places. There's a lot of potential for U.S. dairy to go in many places around the world, right?
That's correct. And, of course, China has always been kind of our bigger market. You know, it kind of ebbs and flows. China's kind of a difficult market from time to time. Mexico has always been our mainstay, and that really came back this last year after their economies came back a little bit. So I guess diversity is kind of our key in the future. We don't want to depend on any one country. So if we diversify over various other countries, we can keep our supply going out there on a more even basis.
Yep, for sure. All right, Lowell, just as we kind of wrap up here, you know, final thoughts on the work on exports. You know, it is important work because it does take a fairly big chunk of the U.S. dairy inventory, does it not?
In October, we were 17% in sales over a year ago, so the exports continue to increase. So overall, we improved our dairy sales by over 1%, so that was really good considering all the ebbs and flows and the problems of the economies this last year with COVID.
Yeah, and like you say, it's kind of a nice compliment even to what we do here in the United States. You know, it seems like it's a kind of a shared focus just in the international market, right?
I guess we try to focus our exports and even our domestic products on value added. And so exports, for sure, we want to concentrate on cheese sales. And one nice thing about the world cheese market is that it's been increasing at the rate of 6% a year. So there's a lot of increased potential out there.
thank you so much for the update. Appreciate the insight into some of the things going on in U.S. dairy exports around the world. Again, we've been visiting with Lowell Mueller from Hooper, Nebraska. He serves on the Dairy Management Incorporated Board, of course, which works with U.S. Dairy Export Council and others to get U.S. dairy products into international markets. That is today's Nebraska Dairy Update. Chad Moyer reporting.